So hello and welcome to Tuesday's Yoga Club. As always, your practice is at your own risk, so be attentive and aware of how your body's feeling tonight, or whenever you're doing the video, of course. And anything doesn't feel right, ease back. Feel free to take lighter options or to miss anything out that your body doesn't need today. We're going to start lying down, so as soon as you're ready, bring yourself to lying down on your mat. Finding whatever posture is comfortable for you, which may well be Shavasana, feet out to the corners of the mat, hands away from your body, palms turned up. Once you're there, give yourself a few moments to settle, to let your body settle, to let your mind start to settle. Taking your attention to your breathing. Notice as much of the next 3 breaths as you can. Starting then to send the expansion of the inhale down into your abdomen. As you inhale, your abdomen will rise. As you exhale, your abdomen will subside back down. Once you've got that sense of the breath entering and leaving the abdomen, see if you can deepen the breath a little. So as you inhale, you draw more air in, allowing your abdomen to rise to the point where it's, don't take that to the point where it becomes tense. Just take it to the point where it's as full as it will easily go. As you exhale, let your abdomen come all the way down, squeezing the air out with maybe a gentle draw of your navel to your spine, but again, not to the point of tension, just to the point of a gentle squeeze, expelling a last bit of air. So it'll feel like you're drawing in as much as you can, and gently expelling as much as you can. You're benefiting from good lungfuls of air on each breath. And then keeping that length of breath, drawing that amount in, expelling that amount, just seeing if you can slow the breath a little so that you take a little longer to inhale and exhale. Letting yourself pause at the start or end of the breath, if that's what feels natural to you. Take one more full abdominal breath. And then return to normal, natural breathing. Bending your knees. Bringing your feet in towards you, picking up your right foot, bringing your right knee into your chest, taking your arms around your right knee, hugging your right knee close into your chest. Being aware that as you hug your knee in, your right thigh joint closes down as much as it possibly can. And as you pull maybe as you draw your knee down, your shin down, you're also closing your knee joint as much as you can. And if you just lift your head maybe and reach forward with your left hand towards your toes and draw your toes back, you'll also be closing your ankle joints as much as you can. And as I was doing this earlier, it just made me realise how it's amazing how our body's made of so many different joints that all make different functions. So whereas the knee joint and the hip joint close so tight, the ankle joint still stays so open even when it's at its most closed. And as I thought that, I thought it was quite obvious really, because if it didn't do that, then we just fall over when we walked. So our knee joint, all those joints are now as closed as they can be. So if you take your head back, take your right arm down by your side, we'll now open those joints by taking your foot up towards the ceiling, flexing your foot so your toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. So now your knee joint and ankle joint are as open as they can be, and your hip joint is opened a little. If you then take your foot down to the ground, your hip joint opens more, but not to its full extent, because your leg would need to go through the floor for it to open fully. If you now bring your knee back in, so you close those joints, flexing your foot, and then take that move in a circle. So you now open the joints, taking your toes up to the ceiling, taking your leg down to the ground, then bringing your knee back in and just repeating that. So you're drawing a big circle with your foot, fully opening and closing those joints as much as you're able to while lying down. A great thing to do if you wanted to warm up the leg joints before going out for a run. This is a great way to warm them all up. Taking one more trip around and landing your right foot down. Bending your right knee. Picking up your left foot. Draw your knee firmly down. So you're closing your knee joints and your hip joints. Taking a look up. Taking a hold of your toes, closing that joint as much as you can. Really feeling the strength of that joint. It's really, there's no give on that ankle joint as you draw your toes towards you at all. Taking your head back down, releasing your leg, hands by your side. Then stretch your toes up towards the ceiling, flexing your foot as much as you can. Lowering your leg down to the ground, keeping it straight, and then circling with that leg. Fully opening and closing the joints as much as you can by drawing the biggest circle that you can with your foot. You may find some clicks on one leg or the other. That's absolutely fine. It doesn't always feel fine if they're different from one side to the other, but that's just the way our joints work. Then taking one more trip around with that leg and landing the leg down. Stretching your right leg out. Reaching your arms up above your head. Feet come together, pointing your toes. Interlace your hands if that's okay with your shoulders and stretch out as long as you can. And when you think you're stretching out as long as you can, stretch a little bit longer. Release that, relax the whole body, bring your hands by your side and come up to sitting and then sitting up to standing. Ready to salute the sun. So today, because the weather's a little bit cooler, I thought we would celebrate by taking 3 rounds of sun salutations. So we'll take one slowly as always, and then we'll take 2 at a little bit of a brisker pace, allowing us to feel that flow from one posture to the other. Hands relaxed by your side, feet pressed downwards, the crown of your head lifts upwards, shoulders relax back, top of your chest lifts up towards the ceiling. 2 breaths to begin. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, palms pressed firmly together, Lifting your elbows up and just taking them back towards your shoulders a little, activating your shoulders, reaching your arms up, looking between your hands, stretching your arms higher, taking them back towards the wall that's behind you. So you're showing your heart to the ceiling, but pressing your abdomen forward to the wall that's in front of you. From your hips, stretching forward and all the way down. Keep your arms lifted for as long as you can, so they are your brake as you come down, but when you need to, bending your knees, relaxing your neck muscles, fingertips touch the ground, having your legs just as straight as they can be whilst your fingertips remain in contact with the mat. Right foot comes all the way back. Let your gaze lift there. Pressing your heel away, and as you do that, lifting your left knee so that leg becomes straight, and with the knee lifted, maybe seeing if your hips can relax down a little more. Send your left foot back, coming to down face dog. Hips lift to the ceiling, heels press down to the ground, hands push down in the mat, and press forward, helping your chest to ease back towards your knees. Look between your hands, come forward to plank. Hands push the ground away, heels press back, helping you to straighten. And you can even from here just take a quick look down towards your feet and just check in. Are you lifted or dangling down, or are you forming that perfect straight line? Lower your knees, bringing your chest to the ground. Touching down with your chin. If it'll reach, you could take your forehead to the mat. Press forward, lifting your face and lifting your chest. Shoulders up and back, elbows in close. Into our first cobra. Tucking your toes and lifting your hips. Maybe taking them back towards your heels first, especially on the early rounds. Lifting your hips back up to down face dog. Heels down, hands press forward, hips lifting on high. Stretching out the calves, bending your right knee, and as you exhale, press your left heel firmly backwards. Inhaling, swap that over, so now you're bending your left knee, exhaling, right heel firmly to the ground, feeling that stretch in your calf. Inhaling, swap, exhale, left heel to the mat. Inhale, swap, exhale, right heel. One more. Inhale, swap, exhale, left heel firmly backwards. Inhale, swap, exhale, right heel to the ground. Press your left heel down to join the right. Press your hands down, lift your hips if you've got the energy. Look between your hands, bring your right foot through. Lifting your gaze, lifting your left knee as you press your left heel away, relaxing your hips. Springing your left foot through, finding your forward fold, fingertips touch the mat, neck muscles relax. Then leading up with your arms, reach your arms forward and up, they'll bring you up, looking between your hands, armpits lift, exhale, hands down. I don't know where that exhale came from, we're not doing our breathing yet. One more round. Before we then come to our one more side before we come to our 2 rounds. So hands relaxing, crown of your head lifting, inhale, exhale, palms firmly pressed together. Reaching and stretching up and back, looking between your hands. Stretching and reaching forward and down, fingertips engaged with the mat, upper body relaxing completely. Left leg back. Lift your gaze as you let your hips relax down, press your left heel away, lift your left knee. Send your right foot back, down face dog. Hands press down and forward, hips lift, chest towards your knees. Come forward to plank, shoulder blades ease down your back. A little bit of core, knees lifted. If you feel strong, you can lower down in one straight line, taking your elbows back, or lower your knees, then your chest. If you came down in one straight line, just let your body relax before you lift your face and lift your chest, coming to cobra. Shoulder blades and elbows easing back. Tucking your toes, lifting your hips to down face dog. Hands press down, heels press down, hips lift on high, tilting your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Look between your hands, left foot through. Lift your gaze there. Right foot comes through, relaxing here for a moment. And reach up with your arms. Look between your hands, stretching back. Hands come down. Inhale. Exhale. So we have 2 rounds straight the way through, hands relaxing, feet pressing down. We begin with a rest breath as always. Inhale. Exhale, palms press firmly together. Inhale, reaching up and back. Exhale, reaching forward and down, fingertips touching the mat. Inhale, right leg back. Lift your gaze there. Exhale, left foot back. Lifting your hips on high. Inhale, forward to plank. Come to looking between your hands. Exhaling as you lower. Inhale, face and chest lifts, elbows ease back. Exhale, toes tuck. Hips lift on high as heels press firmly to the ground. Inhale, right foot through. Lift your gaze, stretch your left heel away. Exhale, left foot through, relaxing into your forward fold. Inhale, reach and stretch up and back. Exhale, hands down. Inhale. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, reach and stretch up. Exhale, reach forward and then down, fingertips in line with your toes. Inhale, left leg back. Lifting your gaze, relaxing your hips. Exhale, right foot back. Heels press down, hands press forward. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, slowly lowering. Inhale, face and chest lift to cobra. Elbows ease back. Exhale, toes tuck. Hips lifting on high, taking your chest back towards your knees. Inhale, left foot through. Lift your gaze. Keep your right knee lifting. Exhale, right foot through, forward fold. Inhaling, reach and stretch up and back. Exhale, hands down. Final round. Inhale. Exhale, palms press firmly together. Inhale, reaching and stretching up. Exhale, forward and stretching down. Inhale, right leg back. Lift your gaze. Exhale, left foot back. Hips lifting on high. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale as you lower. Inhale, face and chest lift to cobra. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift, hands push forward against the mat. Inhale, right foot through, lift your gaze. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold. Inhale, reach, stretch up and back. Exhale, hands down. Final side, inhale. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, forward and down. Neck muscles relax. Inhale, left leg back. Lift your gaze. Exhale, right foot back. Down face dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Shoulder blades ease back. Exhale to lower with control. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift, heels press down. Inhale, left foot through. Lift your gaze. Exhale, right foot through, forward fold. Inhale, final one, reach and stretch up and back. Look between your hands, armpits to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down. Wonderful. Taking your feet apart, palms turn forward. 2 cooling breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Come to lying down on your mat, finding your most comfortable corpse pose. Feet to the edges, hands away from your sides, palms turned up. Being aware of your breathing, allowing breath and heart rate to return to their resting rate. Maybe having a few abdominal breaths here, so good deep breaths, replenishing, refreshing, revitalizing the body. We're going to take Supta Matsyendrasana. Supta is reclining, Matsyendrasana is a twist, so lying down twist. You might just want to have a belt here handy if that helps you take the hamstring stretch that we add to the twist. Bend your knees, bring your feet in towards you. Picking up your right foot, placing your right foot on your right ankle on your left knee. Arms stretch out to the side. Pick your hips up, move them 2 or 3 inches to the right, placing them back down. Pressing your arms into the ground, pressing your shoulders into the ground, and slowly, when you're ready, starting to take your legs over to the left hand side. So bring them down slowly. Aiming to bring the sole of your right foot, the outer edge of your left leg to the ground. Now if that doesn't happen and you find yourself coming halfway, that's fine. You could then take your left foot in towards the middle of the mat. So it feels as if you're kind of lowering it down a little bit so that you then do get to the point where you get the contact between the legs and the foot and the ground. Taking your left hand onto your right knee. Keep your right arm and shoulder pressing down as you guide that knee towards the ground. As the knee comes down, you start to twist the spine. Taking the knee as far as your right shoulder blade allows. When that starts to lift off, you've taken it as far as you can right now. And we'll deepen it with the breath as always. As you inhale, press your right arm and shoulder blade down. As you exhale, see if the knee will ease any lower. So you're trying to on that inhale, you're trying to maximize the contact with the upper back and the ground. Take one more breath, a final ease down of the knee to the ground. Turning your head to look to the left, straightening your right leg and taking a hold of it from underneath. If you find you're holding your leg above your knee, if that's as far as you're able to reach, then you might want to take the belt, loop it around your foot and hold the belt in your left hand. However you've got a hold of your leg, whether it's by belt or by your hand, start to ease that straight leg up to the wall that's above your head. So feeling the stretch in the hamstring, flexing your left toes, stretching your left heel away from you, pressing your right hand away from you in the opposite direction, and maybe just rolling your right hip down towards the bottom of the mat. So you're just opening the right side. Take a couple of breaths here, using the exhale as the chance to lift your leg towards the wall above your head. Releasing, letting go of your leg, bend your right knee so your knees come towards each other, lifting your knees back up towards the ceiling. Resetting everything. Hips back to the centre of the mat, arms stretching out at shoulder height. Picking up your left foot, placing your left ankle on your right knee. And with your lifting your hips up, taking them 2 or 3 inches to the left. And with your arms firmly pressing into the ground and stretching apart, slowly take your legs over to the right hand side. You might find you've got different flexibility on this side. So again, on this side, if you find your legs don't come down to the ground after a little bit of time, you can take your right foot towards the centre of the mat. So as you do that, you'll come to a point where your outer edge of your right leg and the sole of your left foot will be able to land down. Taking your right hand onto your left knee, left arms and shoulder blade firmly pressing down as you guide your knee towards the ground. There's no rush here. Let that develop steadily. Almost the slower you take that, the further you'll ultimately go. Whereas if you try and force it straight down, the little protection systems in our muscles will hold the stretch back. Whereas if you take it steady, your muscles will have time to realise what's going on and lengthen and stretch. Take 2 breaths there, where on your inhale you press your left shoulder blade down, on your exhale ease your knee lower to the ground. Turning your head to the right, straightening your top left leg, taking a hold from underneath, as close to your ankle as you can reach. If you're above the knee, you might want to take a belt, loop it around the foot and use the belt. Once you've got a hold of the leg in whatever way, easing it to the wall that's above your head. Stretching your left heel away in one direction, your left hand in the other direction. Rolling your left hip down towards the bottom of the mat. Using your next 2 or 3 breaths on the exhale, see if your leg can be persuaded closer to the wall that's above your head. As you next exhale, release that, let go of your leg, bend your left knee, bring your knees towards each other and lift your knees up towards the ceiling. Stretch your legs out, bring your hands by your sides, palms turned up, taking a moment there. So for our core tonight, again, to celebrate the cooler weather, we're going to take dynamic crow. So to prepare for dynamic crow, bring your legs together, taking your arms up above your head. Stretching yourself as long as you can. So press your heels away, press your hands away above you so you're lengthening as much as you can. Draw your navel in towards your spine. When you next exhale, lift your straight legs and lift your upper back away from the ground. Once you've lifted there, bend your knees, bringing your knees in, lifting your arms up to bring your knees into contact with your arms. As close towards your armpits as you can, that's where it gets the strongest. When you next inhale, stretch that out. So you take your upper body back down to the ground, you let your legs stretch out, and then keep that going with your breath. As you exhale, bringing it in, making a contact with your knees somewhere along your arm. As you inhale, stretching out as long as you can, and then keeping that going with your breath. If you want to lighten the load, then you can keep your knees bent and not take them all the way away from you. Keeping your navel drawing down towards your spine throughout. If you want to make it that little bit stronger, then don't touch your heels down at the end of the inhale. That way you keep the muscles working the whole time. Taking up to 3 more if you have them. And when you finish on an outstretch. Land your heels down, land your arms above your head, maybe bending your elbows to let your arms relax and rest easy on the ground. Coming back to abdominal breathing, so inhaling down into your abdomen to really stretch the core muscles. Exhaling all the way down to release. So we've given our hips a good warm up today with the opening and closing joints and with what we've just done, and salute to the sun as well. So they're ready to really stretch the hips with a little bit of happy baby. Bend your knees, bring your feet in towards you, then bring your knees up onto your chest. Take your arms around your knees and hug them in close. Then lift your head away from the ground, lifting your upper back away from the ground, looking beyond your knees to your toes. And then if you can, take your hands around the outside of your feet. Alternatively, you can take a hold of your ankles or a hold of your shins. So taking a hold of wherever you're able to. Then take your head back down, and as you take your head back down, bring your legs with you so that they end up pointing towards the ceiling. You might need to just adjust the grip to get and have your legs lifted before you then take a hold either of shins or ankles. But your aim is to have your soles of your feet, if you can, pointing up towards your ground, or as much of your soles of your feet pointing up. Then wherever you've got your grip, start to draw your feet down towards you, letting your knees head down the outside of your body. So they're going down the outside of your rib cage. And as you do that, you'll get that stretch in your hips. So with your hands, wherever's right for you, that might be on the back of your thighs, it might be on your ankles, you might be able to reach the outside of your feet. Relaxing your shoulders. It's very easy to tense at the shoulders, so let your shoulders relax down to the ground. Maybe pressing your feet, if you've got a hold of your feet, upwards into your hands to allow you to get a stretch in your arms. Pressing your tailbone down towards the ground, helping you to really build that stretch in the hips. Take one more breath there. Have a final ease down of your legs. Easing your knees down towards the ground. Then release your legs. Bring them feet down to the ground and stretching your legs out, turning your palms to face up. Again, that's a posture that closes the hip joints right down. So we'll open them right up now with bridge. Bend your knees, bringing your feet in towards you. Have a reach down. See if you can just graze the middle of your heels with your middle finger. With your feet, making sure they are hip distance apart, bring your toes a little towards each other so you're very slightly pigeon-toed. Tilt your tailbone up towards the ceiling so you're feeling your lower back pressing into the ground and lifting your hips away from the ground, pressing your feet down as your hips lift. Bring your hips as high as you can there. Then start to peel more of your upper back away from the ground, pressing your upper arms firmly into the mat. Once you've lifted as high as you easily can, if it's comfortable for your shoulders, you could interlace your hands underneath you and press your interlaced hands down towards your feet and down towards the ground. If that's feeling comfortable, what you could then do is take your weight over onto one shoulder. As you do that, the other shoulder will lift. Tuck that shoulder, roll it outwards and underneath you, and then go onto that shoulder and roll the opposite shoulder outwards and underneath you. Wherever you are then, start to see if you can get more lift. Press your feet down into the mat, but also push your feet away from you, not so that they move against the mat, but so that that then helps your hips lift upwards, aiming your hips towards the corner of the ceiling and wall right above where you're looking. If there is a ceiling and wall there, but you're heading towards that corner with your hips. And then seeing if by pressing into your arms you can lift more of your upper back away from the ground. Take one more good breath, lifting a little higher if you can. If your arms are interlaced, uninterlace them, moving them out to the side. and slowly drape your spine back down. Send your hips towards your heels so your spine drapes down one vertebra at a time. Hips land last. Once they've touched down, bring your knees onto your chest, take your arms around them and have a rock side to side. Bring that to a halt, ease your head to your knees, draw your knees firmly to your chest. Release, land your head down, land your feet down and come up to sitting. So we're going to take Paschimottanasana next, except instead of taking it how we normally take it, which is by is seated, taking a lift of the arms and folding forward, we're going to do it standing so that gravity can do the work for us. And what I'd like you to do, if you've got it in your room that you're in, is I'd like you to take yourself to a windowsill, or if you don't have a windowsill, you could take yourself to the door and place your hands against the door. If I can't see you, that's fine, as long as you can hear and or see me. That would be perfect for those who are here live. So just taking yourself to a windowsill or a door, and once you've come there, if you're by a windowsill, stand a little bit back from the windowsill. I can't swivel my camera around actually oh, maybe I can bring it up. Oh, I can bring it around a little bit more. If you're by a windowsill, place your hands on the windowsill and then walk your legs back so that you end up with that right angle, so that your ankles are underneath your hips, your arms are straight, and you're allowing your shoulders to relax down. From there, if your hands are on a windowsill, then have your hands pressing firmly down. Stretch your sitting bones back to the wall that's behind you, looking directly down at the ground in front of you. So you'll feel like as your hips ease back, that you're just stretching your upper body, feeling that stretch in your armpits, feeling the stretch in your upper arms. So this posture, where we are now, is where we start Paschimottanasana, when I would normally say, let's stretch your arms up, and then with your arms stretched up, on your next exhale, fold forward, taking everything toward all your upper body towards your feet. So we're in that position now. So let's take it from here to the fold forward. So just walking your hands back if you're on a windowsill, so that you've got your fingertips ready to go. And then when you're ready, on an exhale, let go of the windowsill and fold forward down towards the ground. Keeping your arms straight for a moment. When you've gone as far as you can, you could then release your hands down to the ground. If your fingertips easily touch the ground, you could keep your hands straight. Or you might just want to start by bending your elbows and taking hold of the opposite elbow with the opposite hand. So this is our normal standing forward fold, but I want you to think of it in terms of the seated forward fold, and thinking what your body's doing compared to what it would do in the seated forward fold. If your hands easily touch the ground, what you might want to do is replicate taking a hold of your toes by tucking your hands underneath your toes, and then you can use that to give you a little bit more leverage down. So now use your next few breaths as we would do sitting down, so that as you inhale, you relax forward to your toes, and as you exhale, you relax your upper body as much as you can. So inhale forward towards your toes or down towards your toes, exhale relaxing your upper body. You're nearly there, Barry. In fact, you are there. So take a couple more breaths. Inhale, press your chest forward, down towards the ground. Exhale, relax your upper body. And then preparing to come out just as we would in Paschimottanasana, although if you're very close to the ground you won't quite be able to stretch your arms straight, but just stretch your arms straight, maybe take them a bit forward if you're close to the ground, So your arms are as straight as you can, and then on a big inhale, lift yourself back up. And exhaling, lowering your hands. Wonderful. From there, bring yourself back to lying down and get yourself ready for our back postures. I'm just going to put my telly back right. So lying on your front, hands underneath your forehead, resting your forehead onto your hands. And just take a moment's rest there. You're either sitting very still, Barry, or you've frozen. But as long as you can still hear me, that's fine. So we're going to take Cobra, our very familiar posture. And it's a familiar posture because we do it a lot, and we do it a lot because it's a really valuable posture to strengthen and stretch the back. So we're going to take Cobra 3 ways tonight. The first way is the traditional way, hands come underneath your shoulders, and with your hands underneath your shoulders so that the tips of your fingers line up with your shoulders, bring your forehead to the ground. With your forehead resting on the ground, lift your shoulders up towards the ceiling and take them down towards your feet. So it's that up and back movement. When you next inhale, lift your face looking directly forwards, and when you next inhale, peel your chest away from the ground. Your hands are just lightly resting on the ground. If you lifted them, you would not lower down at all. Elbows are in close and heading back to the wall behind you. Your chest is easing forward a little. Shoulder blades heading down your back. Next exhale, lowering your forehead back down. Relax everything for a moment. And then Cobra the next way. So with your forehead resting on the ground, take your shoulders up and back. As you next inhale, lift your face so you're looking directly forwards. And as you next inhale, peel your chest away from the ground, taking your shoulder blades back. And then you can keep your hands here, but if you want to, you could take your arms out to the side. And with your arms out to the side, you can see if you can lift your chest higher, taking your shoulders back, keeping your breath smooth, taking one more if you can. As you exhale, slowly lowering back down. Bringing your hands underneath your forehead for a moment and taking a breath's rest. So we're going to take another Cobra variant, this time with our hands on our back. Knowing that if your back doesn't need to go as strong as that, you could take Cobra with your hands underneath your shoulders. Welcome back, Barry. Just take this one easy, take this easy. Listen to your back, having not done the first two. So if you're taking your hands on your back, interlace your hands behind your back, bringing your forehead onto the ground. If your shoulders won't like your hands interlaced, then let your hands rest by your side. Forehead rests on the ground. As you next inhale, lift your face, look directly forwards. As you next inhale, peel your chest away from the ground. And as you next inhale, lift your arms up towards the ceiling and press them down towards your feet, allowing you to lift that little bit higher. Keep your breath going if you can. Well, not if you can, keep your breath going. It's definitely advisable to breathe. Take one more breath, lifting if you can. On your exhale, lower yourself slowly back down, bringing your hands underneath your forehead, resting a forehead or cheek into your hands. And while we're lying here, we're going to finish with a quad stretch. And a bit like we did with our Paschimottanasana, our seated forward fold, but by taking that standing up and using the windowsill or the door, it changes the nature of the posture and can allow elements of it to become stronger. So we're going to do the same with the quad stretch, that standard quad stretch that runners and cyclists do where you stand, take a hold of your ankle and draw it to your buttock. We're going to take that lying down today. To prepare, take your right arm and just bring it in front of you so that the elbow is underneath your shoulder. So that's holding you nice and firmly. Then bending your left knee, so you're bringing your ankle in towards you, and then you can take your left hand around and catch a hold of your ankle. If it's hard to reach your ankle, you could take a belt around your ankle. Just square yourself up so your chest is squared up with your mat. So that might mean just bringing your left shoulder down a little bit. And then start to draw your heel into your buttock. And what you should notice here is that gives you a stronger quad stretch than you would often get if you were taking this standing. And if you want to give yourself some more, you can take your left shoulder back, elbow points up towards the ceiling, drawing your heel in more firmly, pressing your hips down into the ground, particularly the left hip, and maybe allowing your left knee to head down towards the bottom of your mat, and then almost feel like you're lifting it up a little to the ceiling. Holding the stretch for one more breath, a final drawing of your heel, and then release. Let that leg stretch out and swap your arms. So now your left arm comes underneath you, elbows directly underneath your shoulder, bending your right knee and reaching around to catch a hold of your right ankle. Just squaring your chest to bring it parallel to the mat, so probably lowering your right shoulder a little and starting to draw your right heel into your buttock, sending your right elbow up towards the ceiling. If you get a little bend in your elbow, taking your allowing your right shoulder to ease back, pressing your hips down and maybe pressing your knee down towards the bottom of your mat and allowing it to lift a little. The other benefit of taking this as your quad stretch is you can do it lying down, but after a long run or ride you may be more inclined to be lying down. Having a final drawing of that heel to the buttock and then release. Releasing your ankle, bringing your hands underneath your forehead and taking a couple of breaths, resting your forehead onto your hands. Hands come underneath your shoulders, pressing into your hands to come onto hands and knees. And taking 2 or 3 rounds of cat-cow just to ease your back out. So as you inhale, lift your tailbone, lift your head, let the back of your waist relax. And as you exhale, head tucks under, tailbone tucks under, and your back arches up. Just take 2 or 3 rounds. At the end of your next round, sit yourself back into child's pose, resting, bringing your hands forward, bringing your forehead as close to the ground as you can whilst you've got your hips as close to your heels as you can bring them. Maybe making a fist or a pillow with your fist to rest your head onto, and then adjusting your child's pose. So maybe opening your knees or keeping them closed if that's more comfortable, and maybe changing your hand position either down by your feet on your lower back, stretched out in front, relaxed in front, whatever makes your child's pose comfortable for you. Allowing your next few breaths to relax your whole body. Hands then come underneath your shoulders. Press into your hands to lift yourself up and come to sitting with your legs stretched out for a twist. Picking up your right foot, bending your knee, taking it over across your left leg. Do feel free to sit on a block here if that allows you to be seated upright more comfortably. Both hands then around your knee, drawing your knee in towards you. And then thinking about the bottom of your rib cage, the end of your rib cage, just lifting that up and bringing it forward towards that knee. Take your left arm out to the side, stretch it wide, bringing it back to hug around that knee so that your elbow is as close to the knee as you can make it. Taking your right arm behind you, pressing your fingertips into the ground, still bringing your bottom of your rib cage up and forward so that it's as close to your knee, maybe even in contact with your right leg. As you next exhale, start turning your chest around to the right, taking your right shoulder back with you. When your chest has gone around as far as it will go, take your gaze over your right shoulder. Firmly drawing your right leg in and maybe bringing it across a little bit over to the left to help stretch out the right piriformis so it'll feel like a stretch in your right glute. Using your next 2 or 3 breaths. As you inhale, press into your backhand and straighten. As you exhale, ease yourself round, taking your shoulder round, taking your head round, looking over your right shoulder. Take one more breath there, and as you exhale from that breath, relax your whole body and come back to face the front. Stretch your right leg out and bring the left leg over the right. Bring your foot in close, both hands on your knees, drawing your knee in, lifting the bottom of your rib cage up and bringing it forward towards your knee. Right arm out to the right, bringing it back to firmly hug your leg in. Taking your left hand behind you, fingertips pressing into the ground, bottom of your rib cage coming upwards and forward to the knee. As you next exhale, start taking your chest around to the left. Using your left shoulder to help ease it round that bit further, taking your gaze over your left shoulder with your chin level. 2 or 3 breaths. Inhale, pressing into your backhand straight, and exhale, easing round. Seeing if you can draw your leg a little closer and out to the right, helping you get that piriformis stretch in your left glute. One more breath, and as you then exhale from that breath, relax the upper body and come back to face the front. Uncrossing your legs, having a shake, and bringing yourself up to standing, ready for our standing posture. So we'll take a side bend of the spine, which we'll do with Trikonasana pose. We'll take it with a different pose. We'll take it with our standing with your legs straight and your hands relaxing by your side. When you're ready, take a tilt over to the right hand side. Right arm's heavy, helping you to come down. Bringing your left hand behind your head, the palm firmly planted on the back of your head, lifting your left elbow up to the ceiling, and that will help you tilt over a little more. As your left elbow heads up to the ceiling, your left foot can press down into the ground. Using your next 2 or 3 breaths, as you inhale, press your elbow up to the ceiling, and as you exhale, relax more to the left. To the right, keeping the left foot firmly pressing down. So as if you're trying to get the maximum distance between elbow and outer edge of the left foot. One more breath, one more lift and relax. As you next inhale, Bring yourself slowly back up, bringing your left hand down by your side. It's a really simple posture that, but it's deceptively strong. You'll probably feel that down the left hip where you've thoroughly stretched out. Hands relaxed by your side. When you're ready, start tilting over left. Left fingertips heading down towards the ground. Imagining your left hand to be really, really heavy. Right hand comes onto the back of your head, firmly planting the palm, fingers open and nice and wide, pressing your elbow up towards the ceiling, pressing your right foot firmly into the ground so you're lengthening from foot to elbow, and use your next 2 or 3 breaths. Inhaling, elbow lifts, exhaling, relax more to the left. When you next inhale, release and bring yourself back up, lowering your right hand. And then from here, we will finish with our ITB stretch. We're going to take the forward fold ITB, so focusing more on the lower end of the ITB where it connects down by the knee. Crossing your right foot over the left, bringing your toes so they're in line with each other. So you're looking down at 2 toes, 2 feet, as they normally would be when you're standing, except they're the other way round. Lifting your arms up towards the ceiling, turning slightly to the left, your torso slightly to the left so that you face forward, reaching your arms up, and as you next exhale, stretch forward, forward, forward with your arms as you lower yourself down. Stretch forward with your arms for as long as you can, but then when you need to, let your arms relax down, let your neck muscles relax down. If your fingertips touch the ground, let them touch the ground, otherwise take hold of the opposite elbow with the opposite hand. Using your breath, relaxing down a little more with every breath, keeping your back foot, that's the right foot, which is now on the left rather confusingly, pressing firmly into the ground. And if you want to maybe intensify that stretch down the outside of the right leg, which is the ITB we're stretching right now, you could just take your torso a little round to the left. So you're just taking your arms and your arms and your upper body over to the left a little, and you should feel that intensify the stretch in that right ITB. Take one more breath, a final relax down on the exhale. If you've got a hold of your elbows, release your hands down and slowly bring yourself back up. Uncross your legs and cross right leg over left. Toes come into line. Left foot firmly pressing into the ground, lifting your arms, stretching tall. Turning slightly to the right so that you come to face straight forward. With your arms still reaching up, start to reach forward as you lower yourself down. Reaching forward for as long as you can, then relaxing your upper body down over your legs. Maybe taking hold of your elbows if your fingers don't easily touch the ground, letting your neck muscles relax completely. Every out breath is your chance to sink a little lower. Tilting your tailbones up towards the ceiling a little more. Back foot still pressing firmly down. And then you might find if you take your torso over to the right a little, that you'll intensify that stretch. That just can, not always, but you can stretch the ITB a little longer so that you feel it where it's connecting to the muscles down around the knee. Take one more breath, final relax down. And then releasing your hands towards the ground, slowly bringing yourself back up to standing. Uncrossing your legs, taking a roll of your shoulders, and coming to lie down on your mat, ready for some final relaxation. So you may come to Shavasana pose or any other posture that's comfortable. Knees can be bent or straight out. Just checking that everything is relaxing, that you've not got any tension left in your shoulders. So you might want to let them relax to the ground a touch more. Coming back to your breath. Taking 3 or 4 gentle abdominal breaths. So gently filling and raising the abdomen, allowing it to relax and subside back down on the exhale. And you could continue that abdominal breathing, or let that practice go as you take another minute or so, resting, relaxing. Keep your body still for a few more moments as you draw your attention and awareness back. Take a wriggle of your fingers and toes. Bring your legs together, take your arms up overhead. Stretch your toes forward, stretch your arms back. And release, bend your knees, bring one knee then the other onto your chest, hugging your knees in, taking a rock side to side. Bringing that to a halt, landing your feet down. From there, maybe coming via the right hand side for a breath or two, and slowly bringing yourself back to sitting. Thank you for joining me, whether you've joined me live or watching a video. It's always good to see you. Thank you. Namaste.